Minister Bheki Cele yesterday met with members of the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast taxi industry. Among other issues, he addressed violence in the sector. Between January and July this year, taxi violence claimed 24 lives in the province's Ugu district. This is more than 3 times the number of deaths for the same period last year. For more on this, we're joined by criminologist Professor Kholofelo Rakubu. Professor, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us on Newzroom Afrika. The deaths are a far cry from last year's 5 when Police Minister Bheki Cele met the taxi bosses in the Ugu district. How does one even begin to explain this?
Thank you, Mpo, and thank you for having me. It's unexplainable. The amount of life being lost in this industry keep on escalating, and there's not much change that has been provided from the minister's point of view or any other stakeholders, because we keep on repeating same sentiments. We keep on responding with shock. But what is it that is available? What is it that is current, that is being put on the table with regard to taxi violence? There's not much.
Yeah. The deaths have increased. They've more than tripled, in fact, but the high levels of violence in the area are not new. It's something that we've known and we've seen throughout the many years, that the violence levels are high.
Yes, the issue of labeling. We grew up to learn about taxi violence. It has been the way it was. The industry is characterized by assassination. It's not new. So now what we need from the minister, capabilities, especially with regard to cleaning the industry at the level of a hitman, because we get to hear of we will do this and do that. However, how is the SAPS going to deal with or clean the industry at the level of inkabi or hitman? That has not been provided. Issue of accountability within the industry, not mentioned, it's not thoroughly discussed, because by now we should be having thorough knowledge with regard to the wealth accumulated within the industry. Who's paying who, how, and the money utilized. The wealth, is it who's paying who at what time? Because that is a problem. That is why now the numbers are escalating, because of this wealth and because of what? Desire to protect this domain that is known to be wealthy.
So one would ask whether South African crime intelligence is to deal with this matter. Where has it been? Because we do understand now that the minister says there's a team that he will be putting aside to tackle the spike. And, where will the team begin the scope of its work when it comes to trying to make sense and trying to ensure there is accountability, as you make mention of, the importance of holding someone to account?
We have to wait and see where will the team start, because information has been there. Just like any other violence in South Africa, we are always caught off guard. It's as if we don't have intelligence in South Africa. Look at the recent shootings, generic shootings. It's like we are not protected. So with this taxi violence, one wishes to know what is it that they're going to tell us that we don't know. However, I'm just interested in what do they have to tell us when it comes to hitmen, because that is common. For years, we know these men are hired by someone to kill another taxi owner or to kill someone due to issues of route, fighting over route, etc. Now, we're waiting for intelligence, and we're not supposed to wait for intelligence. We were supposed to be on the know with regard to what is happening today. So it's very surprising that intelligence hasn't implemented, because telling us is a different story. We should be seeing evidence that you know what is happening. We're still very much worried, because remember we were caught off guard with the previous mall lootings or unrest in the Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. And now we also caught off guard with hitmen running around, tavern shootings, etc. We still don't have an idea. Now we also still, taxi violence is decades old. So we are not safe, and they are just keeping quiet, and they are comfortable. The industry as well. The industry utilizes the labeling aspect. You know us to be violent. We can do what we want. And the ammunition used, the machines used, they are not licensed. However, we haven't even seen confiscation of multiple machines utilized to slaughter people in the country. However, we do have intelligence. What is their role in this regard? It has to come to an end. They must produce, we must see, we must review. We've been waiting far too long from their side to tell us we can't be hearing of taxi violence every year.
You know, as you make mention, Professor Rakubu, of the shootings, of course we know that another incident has now transpired in Alexandra as well as in the Free State. We also heard of a shooting in Mamelodi at a tavern, one person killed. Others have now suggested that perhaps there's an extortion group that has been seen in Cape Town and is now moving around. I mean, how do we begin to make sense, just perhaps gathering the trends that are observed in terms of this seemingly new phenomenon?
When I heard of the shootings, tavern safety and so forth, I questioned whether is it alcohol issue or gathering issue. And for now, it has come to forth as a gathering issue. And since we haven't had anything from our relevant stakeholders, the conspiracy theories, tomorrow we'll get to hear of a hitman or group or whatever being spotted in Soweto. So from now we moved from tavern shootings, we are at malls. What next? Bombing of a church or bombing of a university, because this now looks like a gathering issue. The tavern shooting was just to divert us, move our attention and not focus because it's alcohol. Why were they there? I understand with the children that died in tavern, that's a different aspect. However, shooting at the tavern, we were just being diverted. Something bigger is going on. I would also be part of those in a particular theory to explain that tomorrow a church will be bombed. And with all these conspiracy theories, offenders are now calculating. They are rational thinkers. They are planning something somewhere. And knowing now the country is unstable, the level of safety has been jeopardized. They can do whatever they want. And they know our intelligence, our justice system has highlighted uncertainty with what they promised us, because we thought we are safe. But with all these new crimes, with all these new patterns and comfortability of offenders to do whatever they want, it shows we are not safe. We thought we are safe, we are not safe. Now they are proving us wrong. We thought in South Africa, you go to a mall, you don't even have to think about guns or hitmen. But now when you go to shopping complex, you should think you might not come back. And that gives other offenders an opportunity to target other malls. We heard yesterday there was another incident in Gauteng. Are we safe? We are not safe.
Then it brings me to this question. I mean, does South Africa's intelligence within the SAPS have the skill set, the know-how, the savvy to be 2 steps ahead?
So far they don't have. We thought they have. They don't have. Crime has evolved tremendously, and they haven't arrived where crime has evolved. Offenders are 2 steps ahead. They are 3, not 2, 3 steps ahead. Because even today, we don't even know who was responsible for those lives lost in Soweto.
How effective are campaigns like Operation Okai Mulawa? I mean, every now and then we see them across different parts of the country, and search and seizure operations underway, and detectives are on the ground following on leads of high-profile criminals that they've been looking for. I mean, how effective is that?
It's not. It is effective in other parts of the country, but in others it's not. They have to also re-strategize, rethink, and be on par with the current crime intelligence or level of intelligence from our perpetrators' point of view. they should now think ahead. They should now think of, because I'm sure 5 years back, they never thought people can be killed in taverns. That is why, even during Ukayamolao and so forth, there hasn't been any mention of tavern safety. For example, that when you are a tavern operator, make sure that all your customers are protected from the gates level. Even taverns today don't even have gates or bouncers. So, Ukayamolao should have looked at even smaller details that or elements that suggest criminality or possibility of criminality. So I think this is now a challenge for South Africa and relevant stakeholders or all research institutes. When you now analyze crime patterns in South Africa, you should also understand the type of offenders we have and the comfortability. And again, it should be assessed what gives them this leverage, what gives them this strength to do as they please. Does that mean we have to question our police system? Does that mean we have to question our intelligence? Those should be questioned because we have to be safe. Our society is shaking. And I'm telling you, next week we'll be talking of more serious crimes than we are talking today. Tomorrow, another conspiracy, they will be saying we've got Boko Haram somewhere. What will be saying? Some will be resigning at work. We might even avoid to go to shopping complex. And that suggests what? Reduction. We have a struggling economy. They might profit. We're talking of profit at these malls. So they should really hurry up. We do not have time. Yeah. Time is not on our side. They must strategize and rethink. Even if now it suggests policy formulation or re-review, that should happen urgently. So, task team that the minister has mentioned, we should know what is it about and where is it going. And they should consult extensively, including academics, because they are excluded in this. After they have published what they think they can do, then we come on forth to say, you missed 1, 2, 3. And they keep quiet. Look at us today. We're talking offenders at loose. And that should not be the case.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on that discussion, Professor Kholofelo Rakubu.